let's go to another key matchup when it comes to the playoffs. The Chicago Bears traveling to the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings win and they're in.
Mm-hmm.
If the Bears win and the Rams lose, the Bears have a shot. They can have that number 2 seed. So both teams are playing for something. We're a few weeks removed from Bears victory in Chicago on Sunday Night Football. One of those classic, this is the Kirk Cousins game where he needs to step up and he didn't. And now I just saw the number, if you're into QB wins situationally, 5-24, or on pace to be 5-24 if they lose this one against winning teams in his career, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Say what you want about QB wins, but sometimes I think things at the extreme ranges probably tell a bit of a story. So
I mean, sometimes there's also a lot of crap in there.
Of course, there's always other stuff in there, but this is why they paid $84 million guaranteed for Kirk Cousins. This is the week at home against the tough Bears defense.
The Bears are also playing to play the Vikings again the week after, right?
Yes.
Like if they lose,
well, if the Bears are the number 3 seed, let's assume the Rams are going to win.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, the Bears are the 3 seed at that point, and
but
the Vikings
can change, right?
The Vikings are going to be the 6 seed, almost certainly, because we're assuming Seattle wins as well.
Yeah, but it's possible that their opponent can change from the Vikings to the Seahawks, correct?
It could. I believe it takes a Seahawks loss to the Cardinals, though.
What's interesting, do you subscribe to the theory that it's very difficult to beat a team 3 times in a season?
I mean, no more difficult than it is to beat them twice.
Really? Because it would strike me as demonstrably more difficult to beat them twice. Or to beat them 3
just
times
think
twice.
So here's what I'll say. We were talking with Eric about this in the office. Division games are harder to predict, essentially. So when you're running all the numbers and it's like, oh, the Bears are great and the Vikings are bad, you immediately just say, well, let's bring it a little bit closer because it's a division game and familiarity kind of gives the underdog a bit of an advantage, right? So if anything, yes, and I'm not saying the Bears are great, the Vikings are terrible, just using as an example. So yeah, there's something to like the third time you face somebody, the underdog, in this case the Vikings, would tend to have more of an advantage. Are you getting at like the Bears should throw this because that's like
no, I'm not saying they
mentality.
should throw it. I'm just saying that it makes that third game very interesting because like the first game was relatively evenly matched. The Bears win. This game, they still have something to play for, so they're probably going to go out there and try and win the game. If let's say they win it in another close game, that's 2 close division games in a row, setting up a third rematch in the postseason. That becomes a really fascinating game because there isn't that much between these 2 sides, and yet one team would have won twice. Everybody's starting from a clean slate again, not knowing kind of what they're breaking out in the postseason. It would set that up pretty interestingly.
I think the home road thing matters a lot. We both took Minnesota, I think in part because of that.
I took Minnesota 100% because Nathan didn't.
Oh, you did that specifically because
Yeah.
Nathan didn't? Because you need to win.
Yeah.
So do you believe Minnesota's going to win?
No.
Really?
No.
And I'm expecting the Eagles to beat the Redskins. Are you saying the Eagles are going to get into the playoff over the Vikings?
Yeah, probably. Khalil Mack is going to destroy Riley Reif.
Probably.
As he has done before. Akeem Hicks is going to destroy the interior of the Minnesota Vikings offensive line the way he has before.
The Vikings have now allowed over 200 pressures.
Yeah. Which isn't first anymore. It's now second to the Cardinals.
Good for them.
But that's going to be a disaster. That's going to be up in that 45% pressure range. Kirk Cousins has finally started to come back down to earth after playing stupidly good under pressure over the first half of the season. That over the past 3 weeks, his passer rating under pressure has been under 50.
If you've been following us all year, we've just been waiting for that to happen.
Right. The wheels are coming off the way they were supposed to. Ironically, the Vikings offensive line's actually been playing better of late, and he's been playing worse under pressure. But this is going to be one of those completely unmanageable games because of those 2 guys up front. And I don't think the Vikings defense has the horses to kind of keep pace in the reverse of a shootout.
So I think you continue to underrate the Vikings defense. So I did a video with Eric. It's on the YouTube channel for the best defenses in the NFL. And all year we've been saying there's not great defenses. The Bears are the closest thing to it, right? To the best defense. I think they're a clear number 1. Number 2 will surprise some people. It's the Rams. After all that they've been through, on a per-play basis, they're good. And then number 3 is the Vikings. It's all in the NFC. Saints are number 4.
Having said that, probably no Xavier Rhodes, probably no Eric Kendricks. Those are 2 important coverage players to them. Their cornerbacks are going to be Mackenzie Alexander, Holton Hill, and Trey Waynes. That's
Kendricks is a key just because he's got some athleticism, to handle Tariq Cohen in space and some of the trickeration. Plus, you've got Mitchell Trubisky playing a little bit better the last few weeks. 4 out of his last 5 games?
His best 4 grades on the season, I think, have come in the last 5 games. Yeah,
I mean, Detroit and Tampa Bay were his 2 games where he was far above everyone else. But like I said a couple weeks ago, he's throwing the ball better against Green Bay. Last week, he had the 1 disastrous interception, and that was our way of saying, look, guys, this is another terrible play that's not showing up in the stats. He had a negated interception. But he was pretty good throw for throw. Converted some big third downs and all that, even though they only scored, 14 points against the 49ers. He's throwing the ball a little bit better. And this is what we've said all year in our very, very unbiased analysis, Bears fans. We said if Trubisky just starts making a few more throws and eliminating some of those negative, harsh, really bad negatives, they become that much more dangerous on offense.
The point about the Trubisky stuff was always that it's kind of a good thing, because if he actually starts to play better on a throw-by-throw basis and starts to match his box score numbers at some point, that makes you better. You should be embracing the fact that you're doing this well with a quarterback that is not playing as well as his box score numbers.
Right. And we were trying to just say, don't be fooled by the box score numbers. They're inflated.
If he does bridge that gap, that is a hugely good thing for the offense. And he's kind of started to do that over the past few weeks.
He has. So, look, I think this is another very fun matchup. Even with the injuries, the Vikings defense is tough. The last time these 2 played, all we talked about was the Vikings blitz and how Trubisky's biggest struggles have been against the blitz. That's one of those things that I think every single year, the same way Matthew Stafford going up against the Vikings blitz every year is, this tough matchup. I think this is another one for Trubisky. The Vikings didn't blitz him a ton the first time around. Maybe they should be a little more aggressive, try to force him into some bad mistakes.
Yeah, also, so as much as I was, slamming the idea their cornerbacks are going to be Holton Hill, Mackenzie Alexander, and Trey Waynes.
They're playing well.
Alexander in particular has been playing really quite well recently. And Holton Hill, for a rookie low, was he undrafted or a 7th rounder or something? For a guy that basically was not a highly touted pick, albeit a highly talented one who had some off-field issues, or even on-field issues that caused off-field issues, whatever. He's been playing pretty well. Those are not terrible players. I'm just saying that none of them can live with Allen Robinson.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But neither can Xavier Rhodes the way he's playing this season. His entire season has been either getting burnt to a crisp or pulling a hamstring, or pulling a hamstring while getting burnt to a crisp.
That was last Sunday. That was not good. That was not good. So I'm taking Minnesota because I do think they're going to pull one out at home. You're taking Minnesota because Nathan took the Bears.
Yeah. So that's one of the games I need to claw back.
Great.